Hello and welcome to episode 175 of Controller Club, the friendly face gaming space, a podcast where three friends from three continents share in one love, and that is video games. On today's show, we're going to try and catch them all with our first impressions of Pokemon Legends ZA. But first, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Kleinfeld, and alongside me today are two of my best friends in the whole wide gaming world. First, journalist extraordinaire, the Australian abroad / the Canadian in training, back from a whirlwind trip around the continent. Lauren, how are you? How are things? What's going on?
It has been a whirlwind trip. I've crossed countries, I've crossed time zones, I've crossed day to night, I've gone backwards and forwards, and I don't really know what day it is or where I am. But I know that I'm on Control Club right now, so that's a good thing.
Yes, you are back home, back in the seat, and joining us today for the first time ever, a friend of the show, a listener of the show, might I say, editor-in-chief at Agents of Fandom, Pokemon superfan, and most importantly, fellow Canadian, TJ Zwarych. TJ, it's been a long time coming, but welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I am very, very happy to be here. I've been, a long time listener, first time caller, and super excited to hang out, chat some Pokemon, chat some video games.
So, TJ, we do this with all of our guests. Just introduce yourselves to people listening, watching at home. Who is TJ Zwarych? What is Agents of Fandom? And of course, our icebreaker, as we do every time with a new guest. What is a game to get to know TJ Zwarych?
So I am, like you said, fellow Canadian. I grew up and still live in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, right in the middle where it's nice and cold. And I, because of that, played a lot of video games growing up. And so started off with a lot of Mario, a lot of Sonic, played a ton of sports games growing up. That is my biggest regret in probably my entire life, is trading in for pennies on the dollar old video game systems, old video games that would be worth, hundreds of dollars now, and that I'd be a lot more interested in than NBA Live 2006. Something like that, just like whatever the new sports game was. And so I played a lot of that growing up, and one of my most formative ones that I put the most hours in, beat start to finish, so I could see the different endings depending on how I played the game, was the first Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. I love a Marvel team up, and it's one of the reasons I started Agents of Fandom as well, was to talk about Marvel stuff. And so we have a website, YouTube channel, podcast, and we talk about the Marvel shows, the DC shows. We'll be covering Percy Jackson next. We're talking Gen V right now. But the Marvel team up, and what kind of has been the main crucial point in my fandom growing up, watching Spider-Man the animated series, and all of a sudden the X-Men are there, and the Fantastic Four are there, and Blade, and all these different cool characters coming to hang out in Spider-Man. It made me want, I wish Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman could be on screen together. Then all of a sudden they did things like that in the MCU, and that's like kind of the core of my fandom. And so that's why I loved Marvel Ultimate Alliance so much. But Marvel Ultimate Alliance also gave me a taste for role-playing games that impact, like, your choices impact the plot. That has become my favorite thing ever. And so my favorite game of all time was always an Xbox and Nintendo guy growing up. Now I swear by my PS5 in addition to my Switch. And it's the big game that, the Spider-Man games did make me fall in love with my PS5 as well. But The Witcher 3 is my favorite game I have ever played. I love the open world aspects. I love how you can play it 10 different times and get 10 different endings. That aspect of the game is just so incredible to me. And so The Witcher 3 is the one that has defined my adult gaming life, because that is really the game that opened me up to, oh, maybe I'm not just like a casual gamer who wants to play, my old school games, my sports games, and that's about it. Maybe I actually want to dive into the world of RPGs.
Witcher's a good one to do that with. It is definitely, I think we've talked about it here on the show. It's one of those games where you have one exclamation point on the map and you do that thing and it opens up like 30 more exclamation points. I think I played all the way through it when I was living on my own, but had tried before and was trying to like clear the map the first time I went through. And I'm like, this isn't a game you can really do that with. This is a game where you almost have to like forge your own story. And that story is going to mean you don't experience certain things just because there's so much to do. You could live in that game forever. And finally seeing the end of it, it is like quite a journey. It is a true fantasy epic. And it's a great, absolutely fantastic game. And I'm so excited for Witcher 4. Like that is right near the top of my most anticipated right now. I don't know about you.
Yeah, Wolverine might be one, but if not Wolverine, it's Witcher 4. Those are the two that kind of swap back and forth depending on the day.
Okay, we've introduced TJ. Everything, the table is set. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the news we choose. It is very short this week since Tom Drew is away and Lauren is a little sleepy. TJ, as the guest, you know what to do here because you listen to the show. Can I get that news jingle?
It's the news we choose. News.
I like
Yeah,
it.
I
I
forgot
like
the
it a
yeah.
lot. Okay. One story this week. It is a Pokemon themed show. So we are going to talk about the massive Pokemon leaks that have happened over the last week or so. I'm pulling this story from Anna Wachensko over at Engadget. She writes, days ahead of the next Pokemon game release, Centro Leaks, which is a X user you can go follow over on Twitter, is back with another batch of possible leaks about the franchise. The source claims that the same hacker behind last year's so-called Terra leak has released more information they obtained from data mining files owned by Pokemon developer Game Freak that shows the roadmap for all upcoming projects the company has in the works. And there appear to be quite a few of them. This type of hacked information may not be an accurate reflection of Game Freak's actual plans, and any alleged details about the games may not appear in final iterations of the studio's titles. And even if these files are genuine, some of the planning documents are supposedly from 2020, so hardly the freshest info. With those caveats in mind, here's an overview of what the data mining revealed. The leaker claims that the Gen 10 game, which will be called Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Waves. Its theme is, quote, infinity, and the project is slated for a 2026 release with a DLC planned for 2027. The datamine also revealed that an early build of the game treated the central area as an MMO-style lobby where players could see and interact with each other as well as access quest boards. Wind and Waves could also have an MMO raid boss and may give players the ability to explore underwater. A bunch of other details about the plot, characters, and mechanics may have been uncovered in the leak as well. Other Pokemon projects reportedly in the works at Game Freak include another Pokemon Legends game set in Galar, which is slated for 2027 and beyond. A multi-region Pokemon remake, internally called Project Seed, may be released in 2028. The datamine leak suggests this game also seems to be exploring some online multiplayer mechanics, as well as letting players walk freely between different regions from past titles, which sure sounds like it could be a full-on Pokemon MMO. And Pokemon Pocopia is also apparently getting DLC. These leaks, this is just the start of it. These leaks have been crazy. We got, I think, a year ago, the initial kind of PokeLeak stuff. This seems to be from that same set of data that they're just releasing now. We got budget information talking about how Pokemon, which might get brought up later today when we're talking about Pokemon Legends ZA, a game like that costs the Pokemon Company about $20 million to make, which is not a ton when you're considering it up against some of the bigger AAA games out there right now. But I want to know, just from what we've talked about here with this main slate of games, basically riding out all the way to 2030, what do we think? Of course, plans can change. We'll go to you first, TJ. Gen 10 has kind of been like the golden goose for a lot of Pokemon fans. This is like the next big iteration of the franchise, supposedly coming next year. What do you think about that specifically?
Can I ask a question first? What is Gen 10 for the uninitiated in the room?
So every Pokemon game, starting from Pokemon Red and Blue, is gets its own generation number. So like
Right.
Pokemon Red and Blue is Gen 1, Silver and Gold is Gen 2, Ruby and Sapphire 3, Diamond Pearl 4, and on and on and on and on. So this is Gen 10. Should be
Right. And so
next
the
year.
last one would have been Scarlet and Violet, or
Yes.
Yeah. Essentially a
Okay.
brand new batch of Pokemon and a brand new newly explored region that usually
Right.
comes with new features of Pokemon like a Mega Evolution or a Dynamax, something like that we haven't seen before.
Gotcha. Okay.
So TJ, I'll go to you. Gen 10. Thoughts, feelings, waves, and wind.
Conflicted. I mean, not conflicted. That's not the right word. I'd say less excited than many, just because brand new Pokemon and things like that. That has never been the most exciting aspect for me, because I kind of fell off a little bit for a while when the DS and 3DS came out. I've replayed a lot of them as adults, but I didn't get a DS. I had my Advance SP, and then I just kept with my remakes. I didn't want to go to the new ones. I wanted to keep playing the ones that I already had. And so the things that get me most excited are hearing like the possibility of a remake that allows us to have Sinnoh and what was it, the other one with, and Hoenn, and maybe we get to go back and forth between these ones and play the two full adventures. That gets me excited. In terms of the Gen 10 specifically, I do like that it seems to be, I could take or leave the online stuff, but I do like that it seems to be going in the route of like we talked about with The Witcher, forge your own path, and not everybody is going to be having the exact same story. That excites me, because one of my, it's a nitpick, it's a small thing, but one of my biggest pet peeves with Pokemon games is why the hell do they give us dialogue options when all the dialogue options are the exact same thing in slightly different tones? It doesn't adjust the cutscene, doesn't change anything. And so I would love if we actually get some different options and let me forge my own path. Let me, after I do my 8 badges and beat the Elite Four, when I go back, let me join Team Rocket. Like, that would be very, very cool. Things like that.
Yeah, I think adding things like that, just like modern, not even modern at this point, RPG conveniences that people know and love, and seeing that RPG formula within the Pokemon franchise evolve a little bit. We like, even with Pokemon Legends that just came out, we have seen them trying things and maybe trying to break the formula a little bit compared to a lot of the older stuff. But Lauren, I want to stay on the topic of Pokemon Legends with you specifically, because Pokemon Legends Arceus is your gateway into Pokemon. We have Legends ZA now. How do you feel that another Legends game seems to be planned, and it's only 2 years away, supposedly?
I think it's exciting because the Legends games were my jumping on point. They are kind of what I've always wanted from a Pokemon game, and like I don't have a huge history with Pokemon games. I do have history with Pokemon, like particularly from the animated series and just like knowing the brand and things like that. So kind of like TJ, the idea of a whole new range of Pokemon doesn't really do anything for me because I'm so attached to the ones I already have. Um, so like an evolution of the Arceus form, or the Legends format is quite exciting. I'm glad that they're going to continue doing this because that open world style, like, yeah, build up your ranks, like and we'll talk about it more. Obviously, that's what this whole episode is going to be about. So we're kind of skipping ahead, I guess. It is weird to be talking about the future of Pokemon before we've even talked about what's just happened. But I think it's exciting to me that they're going to continue releasing Legends games, is the point of that. But on the wind and waves thing, not that I have any experience with these Gen Pokemon games, I think it is kind of exciting that there's potentially an underwater aspect, because we've seen so many of these new regions unlocked, but they are kind of like sort of the same but different. To go somewhere completely new, like potentially an underwater landscape, or if the wind portion is like you're going into some kind of sky city or something like that. That sounds very exciting to me.
Yeah, I think that some of the leaked images and footage, of course, things change, but it seems to be that this next game will be in a new engine, a new, supposedly switch to exclusive engine. We'll see if that actually happens. I doubt it if these games are coming next year, but that means they can push a little bit more power. They could do things like, hey, let's do free swimming, let's do free flying. I know, TJ, this will pull on your heartstrings a little bit. It reminds me of when they introduced dive in Ruby and Sapphire, and you could dive under the ocean in certain points, and they would have these, they were all handcrafted underwater landscapes. You couldn't do it just at any point wherever you wanted to, but it did kind of give this like extra layer, this feeling of depth, for lack of a better term, that the world wasn't just on the surface. You could go under and find these things, and oh, look, I found a Sharkpedo or whatever, or Tentacruel down in the depths. And I think that could be really neat, and adding this kind of, doing the Tears of the Kingdom thing where you're adding a third dimension to a traditionally fairly flat Pokemon environment.
Agreed. I think that's super cool. And one of my, I can't. Which game was it that we are on the basically adapted Sticklizar? the whole time running around. Was that Arceus or was that Sword and Shield or Scarlet Violet recently? Where you basically just have like the Pokemon bike the whole time.
Oh, that was Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet. That was an aspect I really liked of it. Is I felt like I can go everywhere in Scarlet and Violet. I can climb mountains. I can fly around. The mode of transportation and travel in that game I thought was so good, and that's kind of how I'm viewing this underwater stuff of like a new aspect of transportation within Pokemon is exciting, especially fresh off playing a ton of Legends EA where it's like I can walk or I can jog. That's it. And so that is
You can
making me
climb
really
those
excited.
buildings too.
Yeah, that's making me excited. Sorry, as you can hear my cat coming
A
in
wild
here and
Pokemon.
saying hello in the microphone. Yeah. That's an Umbreon actually that just popped up. But I am really excited for new modes of traversal, especially when it means new terrain to traverse within Pokemon.
Yeah, I think the Pokemon world inherently, because it's inhabited by these wonderful mystical monsters, is interesting, but giving you more reason to explore that world, I think, is the natural next step of like the Pokemon franchise. For the most part, yeah, the original games were, I don't really want to call them open world, but there was some level of like you are traversing across the land and you can go from city to city, and there were branching paths and things like that, but it was ultimately a top-down map that you were moving across. And when we moved into 3D, it stayed very much the same. There have been like open world elements in Sword and Shield, and of course Scarlet and Violet, if that game could possibly run. Now we give you even more options for traversal, and that means we're gonna hopefully give interesting reasons for you to use those options. Like, hey, what could we find underwater? What could we look to in the sky and go and see? And I think that that is kind of the next step for this franchise, instead of venturing into what you were talking about, TJ, where I don't think I would love it. I don't think they're going to go the Witcher 3 route and be like, hey, guess what? Your choices have consequences. And oh no, Pikachu's dead. And now we're going to have to, like, that's going to reverberate throughout the story. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think I would count this kind of added traversal layer and more things to do in the open world as a win for me.
I don't know if this is a flaw, but like, it's more of a me thing that like I've always loved the grind of Pokemon and Pokemon training, and it does feel a little like meaningless in some of these newer games where it's like I can get a Gyarados within the first hour and a half of the game. It used to be so hard to get a Gyarados or a Dragonite, something like that. I do think adding like underwater traversal in like the bottom of the ocean, it does bring cool aspects of like there are going to be certain Pokemon you can only find on the ocean floor. And you're going to have to go find them if you want to get them. And it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a test. I think that is really cool if that's kind of how it comes to be.
I think for me, I question a little bit, like, and this might be controversial in the Pokemon fandom, I'm not really sure. But it's like, why are we doing these alternating, like the Legends and the Gen 10? Like, why not make them one game?
Because they want to release a game every year, Pokemon, or like that is Lord. Because they enjoy having a lot of money once every calendar year, and if they combine
Mm.
them, it would take the games longer to make. They would have to spend more money doing it, and they'd have one less game to add to the calendar.
But it would be better.
There's a pretty 50-50 split down the fandom of like people who are sick and tired of doing the same thing over and over again and want new engaging and adaptive elements to the game, and then the other half where it's like I want my Pokemon to be exactly how it's always been. I want to get my 8 badges, I want to go to the Elite 4, I want to train, and I want to have a few side quests with whatever group is trying to take over the world that week. And like I do think it's pretty like 50-50 down the middle who wants what.
I guess for me, it's like I also, I look at Scarlet and Violet and like you're right, the mode of transport with the having the Pokemon bike basically the entire time. I'm like, well, I want that now in Legends ZA, and then what they introduce in Legends ZA, I want in the next one. Like I want them to keep building on what they introduce in each game, but they don't.
You are learning, Lauren, the plague of a Pokemon fan, where every interesting idea that they ever introduce is gone the next time a Pokemon game comes around. And there's
Right.
another new gimmick. There's another new thing. It's like, hey, guess what? Mega evolutions. Oh, no, now they're gone. Hey, guess what? Now you can ride a motorbike. Oh, now it's gone. Like that is the inherent, I don't know, the inherent downfall of loving this franchise. Where
Yeah,
you
like, I'm
keep
not
coming back because you want to catch those monsters, but the thing you loved from last time probably isn't going to be here this time. But there's going to be something else that you're going to fall in love with.
yeah, because I'm not very far into Legends ZA yet, but, in Arceus they had you could ride the Pokemon through the water, you could fly on the bird, and I'm like, and where's that this time? Do we have that this time? I'm not sure if it's going to be introduced later, but I was sort of like, that would have been really cool to fly over the city on a bird Pokemon. So,
Welcome, Lauren. You are now a
Game Freak,
Pokemon
what's
fan.
up? Yeah.
I think that's going to do it for the leak. You can go, there is so much stuff. Nintendo is actively trying to take it down. So maybe it's all gone by now. They're not going to take the podcast down, but the original leak sources and that sort of thing, if you want to see it, try and find it before it's gone because Nintendo is on the lookout. That's going to do it for the news this week. TJ, in Tom's stead, you're going to have to give us the outro.
It's the news we choose. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, we're staying on the Pokemon topic. As we said, this is an all Pokemon podcast. Pokemon Legends ZA. The second Legends game is finally here, out on the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Nintendo Switch 2. We are going to be giving our review in progress, first impressions, what we're liking, what we're not liking, things we maybe would like to see as we get further in the game, or things we would like to see as we leave this game and head to this, I guess, third Legends game that's coming out. Before we get to all of this, I want to ask you, TJ, specifically, what is your Pokemon resume? Okay, what are your credentials? Show us the gym badges. What's your history with the Pokemon franchise?
Yeah, so I remember actively I finished Pokemon Red, I believe was the first one, before I could read. And so I am pretty proud of that. I remember playing it on Game Boy and remembering what parts I was at the game based on like the shapes of the letters in the dialogue, but I didn't know what any of it meant. And so I was just full on exploring until I got through it. And I've played every Pokemon game now except for, and this is what's hindering me a little bit with ZA, is I haven't played XY. And I haven't played Sun and Moon. I've played all of the other mainline stuff. I actually really like Pokemon Unite as well. I played some Snap. I played some Coliseum. I played some. Oh my gosh, what was the original one?
Stadium?
Stadium. Thank you. Pokemon Stadium, Stadium 2. And I'm a big Gale of Darkness apologist.
Oh, yeah.
I love Gale of Darkness so much. I can't wait for that game to get added to the Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube portion of it. And so I played everything, but I did kind of fall off as soon as, like, after Ruby Sapphire, I think is when I fell off a little bit. And then I didn't come back to it until I was an adult with money and when I want to play all these games again. So I replayed the old ones, and then I just kind of kept going through everything until catching up to now. I didn't realize until this game came out that it was basically a sequel to XY from a story standpoint. And so I wish I would have replayed XY on a 3DS. In hindsight, but I've gone through basically everything. Nothing has made me feel as deeply in love though as the animated show, like the anime growing up, and red, blue, yellow, silver, gold, fire red, leaf green, heart gold, soul silver. Like, the biggest compliment I can pay Legend ZA is I am one of the give me my original games, remake them again with the odd like adjustment to it. Whereas Damon Gray, my Agents of Fandom co-host, we did a little Pokemon talk on our last show, and he's the exact opposite. He has no interest in replaying the original games. He just would rather go to the newer stuff. The Legends games are his favorite. I am big on, or like Legends Arceus, sorry, is his favorite. I'm big on battling and training and gyms. He's big on collecting and the Pokedex. We are two totally different Pokemon fans, and Legends ZA has satisfied both of us. Has some flaws. I have some qualms, but we are two totally different Pokemon fans, and both of us don't want to put this game down. Both of us, whenever we have some free time, are just picking up our Switch to play. So that's the biggest compliment I could give Legends ZA. But I've kind of been around almost everywhere from a Pokemon standpoint, and nothing's beat my originals for me.
Okay, so I'm glad we have you here because you're on one end of the spectrum. I think I am somewhere in the middle. I am an OG Pokemon fan. Red and Blue, Ruby and Sapphire, those are my games. Like that, I had both of them for some reason. I think I got one, and then my parents were like, "Oh, he likes Pokemon. Here's the other." So I would trade them between my Game Boy and my sister's Game Boy. I would do the evolution trades and all sorts of things. And then there was nothing bigger in the world to me at that point than the upcoming Diamond and Pearl. So I was obsessed with those games. But after that, I kind of fell off. Like I had Pokemon Black and White, but I don't think I ever finished it. And then the next games I played was, I guess, Sword and Shield. And so I did that. I haven't played Scarlet and Violet. I haven't done Legends Arceus. So this is my first Legends game. And I think that I'm enjoying my time more than I thought I would. I notoriously, coming into this, I talked a lot of smack here on the podcast. I do think some of those problems still persist, but when we went to PAX a couple months ago, got our hands on this game, I came out of it blown away. I came out of it like, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought it would be. It plays so much more. I have had so much more fun with it than I thought I was going to. But I'm kind of in the middle here. And then Lauren, as we mentioned, like you are a fairly new Pokemon fan, but you are a fervent Pokemon Legends fan. Like Legends Arceus was the reason you got a Nintendo Switch, if I'm not correct. How are you feeling about the game so far as we kind of like get into this conversation?
Yeah, I think I have said that previously on the podcast, but that was the game. It was like the dream Pokemon game for me, being like, because I'm a big open world fan, so to have the freedom of going out into an open world Pokemon landscape, finding Pokemon as you come across them, like free playing, like free catching them, and then yeah, battling them. Like Arceus hit all those points for me. It did have some issues, which I think are recurrent in this game as well, that don't make me gel with it as much. But you know, the big upgrade I think in Legends has been like, firstly, it's a completely different landscape. We're in a city environment now. It's very urban, and there are like still wild spaces, but they're way more densified than the like sort of vast emptiness that was a lot of Arceus. And they've totally leveled up the battle system. I think it's way more dynamic, and so I think that is sort of feeding both parts of the Pokemon fandom, where it is like it's like day and night basically, right? You can go look in the green spaces and collect and hunt down Pokemon, or go on the rooftops and search and find, or you can like get hard into the battle league and go from Z to A. So I think it is catering to both those fandoms, like sections of the fandom, and putting it together. And yeah, I'm not too far in, but so far so good.
Yeah, I think that I'm probably close to 8 hours or so, but I feel like I've done nothing. I
Mm.
don't know about you, TJ, coming from like the OG games, but I was notoriously in those early games scared that I would come up against Pokemon that were inherently better than I was. And so I spend usually the first 15, 20 hours of my Pokemon experience, I do nothing except grind. I go out in the wild and I'm just leveling things up so then I can go when I want to do the rest of the game, and I'm just going to essentially one hit kill everything I meet. So I have just been doing that. I am quite over leveled, I think, for where I should be right now, but I'm enjoying my time with it. Like I am still having fun. It has its hooks in me a lot more than I thought it would after the first day of playing. When we got it downloaded on, I guess, Wednesday night, came out Thursday during the day, I sat down and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this like day night thing where in the day you can go and catch and at night you go and battle, but you kind of get into the groove a little bit as it rolls along. And I am like kind of enjoying that. Okay, it's sunshine out. I'll go and do whatever, catch some Pidgeotos or do a side quest or something. And then when it's nighttime, it's like, okay, like now let's go progress the story just a little tiny bit every few nights. Or you don't have to do the night stuff like you don't have to go and do the battle league stuff. Like you have the option to just, hey, it's night now. I'm going to continue doing what I was doing. The catching zones are still there. The side quests are still there. The collectibles, which are scattered everywhere. I don't know. I don't know how effective they are, but I am still like, I see a shiny thing, I have to get it. I see a Pokeball over there, I have to go pick it up. I am enjoying that aspect of it, whereas when I first started the game, I wasn't sure I would.
I'm right with you there. It's I will say I think like I felt like it's kept me in a tutorial for way too long in this game. Like I felt like I
Oh yeah.
actually played. It was like 5 hours of tutorial before I actually got to run around a little bit. But like the day and night stuff didn't bother me once I started figuring it out, because like it kind of makes the battle tournament feel like a little bit more of a luxury of like, oh shit, it's only open right now. Like, okay, I guess gotta get ready, make sure my Pokemon are all healed up. Let's do it. And that kind of feels like it has taken over what the grind is. I will say that, like, without like spoiling anything, but depending on where you're at in the game, there is a really, for me, it was disappointing ranking jump that happens at a point in this game where I was really excited to grind this tournament and be like, all right, I'm going to be the very best, like no one ever was. Let's do this Pokemon tournament. And then you talk to somebody at a point in the story and they're like, oh, let me just bump you up this amount of levels. And it's like, well, damn. But
I wanted to go
still,
up
it
all
is,
26. What's happening?
yeah, still like it's a very fun aspect. And to me, the crown jewel of this game is the battle system. It's so cool. There are ways they can improve it and adjust it in future games, but it's so much fun. Like it is the exact same, but it's fast paced. And now you also have to make sure you are not in the way of getting hit by a Pokemon. It feels like watching the anime. It feels like watching the anime and you are there in it with your Pokemon fighting this battle. I will say I would like it more if some of the matches were a little bit tougher. Like you said, Klein, that is a point of the game where it's like I like to do my grind. I want to find 6 Pokemon I think I can grow with and just really make sure this is a team I can count on. But it kind of feels like, well, I can always go catch stronger Pokemon and I can always destroy whoever I'm battling really quick. I will say I have died quite a few times though, because I'm
Yeah.
fighting an alpha Pokemon and it gets me. My Pokemon are fine, but I'm the one getting hit because I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be dodging these attacks because I'm not used to it. But it's a lot of fun. It adds a new wrinkle. And to me, it's the first time Pokemon battling has actually felt like I am a real Pokemon trainer and not just like, all right, well, I can set my Game Boy to the side, eat my bowl of cereal. Okay, what am I doing? Oh yeah, he's got this amount of hit points left. Okay, go. It's fun. It feels like real Pokemon battling.
I had a moment early on when I opened up the game and we're playing along, and because I know most of the Pokemon these days, but there are quite a few where I'm like, what is this thing? I have no idea what this particular creature that's standing in front of me is. And so what does a natural Pokemon trainer do? Oh, I'm in this battle, this Pokemon I don't know. Go on my Pokedex, my phone, type it in, blank blank weakness. Oh, okay, it's a whatever fighting type. I need to do this. Except you can't do that here because it is an active battle and you're getting destroyed by just like putting the switch down for a second. I didn't realize that. And I do think that the battling in this game is the most invested I have ever felt in the actual act of Pokemon battling. I think I like the Pokemon games for the act of collecting and building a bond with these creatures and having them level up and evolve and learn these new moves. And then by the end of the game, you really do feel like, especially with the starter, you really do feel like you have this like pet like relationship, this like friend that you can count on. Whereas in this, I'm genuinely invested in the actual act of fighting these creatures against one another. And I am more scared than I ever have been because in the other games, I can always go, okay, it's my turn. I need to look at what they're going to do. How can I counteract that? In this, it's reactive. It's like I'm trying to set myself up for success, but that can go wrong very, very quickly. And so, where am I standing on the battlefield? Where's my Pokemon standing on the battlefield? What can I do to improve myself for the next 3 or 4 seconds to then get an attack off to potentially win the battle? I think that is something that I've never really felt in a Pokemon game, and I want to commend them for that because that's the leveling up of this franchise that I've wanted. I didn't necessarily think they should go and change the battle system, and I don't know if they should go and change it in every Pokemon game now from here on out. But in this game specifically, this is something that I didn't know I really wanted in Pokemon that I'm very, very much enjoying.
I will agree because I find the turn-based combat of previous Pokemon games to be quite tedious. And so I really enjoy this way more active format that they've introduced. But there are some detriments to it, which I think are particularly, there are certain moves, like ones that raise your stats or like effects and things like that, that it just feels like are useless because you're so in the heat of the moment that at points it does feel a little bit like button mashing, because you can't really make your Pokemon dodge attacks and things like that. You can, but if they're in the way and the other person's doing an attack, you kind of don't really have the luxury of like moving them out of the way, leveling them up, and then sending them back in, because they will just be caught in the line of fire. So there are certain things that I think like could be improved upon when they do the next iteration of this. But yeah, I think it is fast paced to a point where it you've got to be really strategic with the moves you're selecting. But I'm still early, but I'm button mashing most of the time. Whenever that power up is ready, I'm hitting the next one. I'm not doing any kind of strategy. Whereas I think in the turn-based ones allowed you to have a bit more strategy.
So that this was actually going to be my next point as well. I think the biggest thing it could be improved upon it that it's missing is a Pikachu dodge. Something we always had in the anime that the games have been missing. And this is a perfect battle style to add that. The one thing I will say is that I didn't realize at the beginning either, but this was actually something Damon brought up on the Agents of Fandom podcast, is there are some of the moves that in the original games that are like stat raisers that are essentially useless, like a double team. Because when are you ever going to need to raise your evasiveness? It's not worth it in those games, right? It's just you use the attacks that damage HP. In this though, like if you, much like the anime, if you use double team, it actually creates multiple versions of yourself and it makes you harder to hit. So if you perfectly time a double team, it actually is like dodging a big attack. So there are some of the moves that if you really get to know them can impact the strategy, but it's so hard to figure out which ones those are and which ones they're and how to do that yet. And it's only some of them. It's not like all of the stat raising moves are giving you like a cool uh animation similar to the TV show. It's only some of them. So it's like there are so many cool aspects of it, but it feels like one of those things that like the next Legends game or maybe 2 from now, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, I think that applies to like the potions and things as well. Like in the heat of battle, when your Pokemon's poisoned or whatever, you having to pause, go into the map, into your menu, find the potion to heal them with. It slows the pace down so much. So that is also another frustrating element. But I'm not really sure how you fix that in a style like this, unless you get rid of stat effects. But then that wouldn't really be some of the love that comes in with Pokemon battling, right? So I'm not really sure what the answer to that is.
I
I
almost think
have
you could
found
like assign a you should be able to assign items to a D-pad for battle, and so like
sure.
you
Hmm.
don't have your full set, but you can have a super potion, a revive, an antidote, and an awakening in each of those buttons, just like
Yeah.
ready to be thrown at any point.
I think that the biggest thing that they could improve upon on this battle system moving forward is using the environment even a little more. That's one of the things I have found in the battling that I'm like feels like is missing is this is ultimately like you are just smashing against each other until someone is dead. And if we're going to be able to move around the environment and do that sort of thing, let me do like, can I add a poison patch to the ground? Or can I like do a big area of effect move that leaves some lingering thing? There are little hints of that in this game. I've noticed that there's like I think Fire Spin is one of them where it like leaves a little bit of
Whirlpool
a
too.
Whirlpool's one of them as well, where it
Whirlpool's a
leaves
good
a
one.
little bit
Yeah.
of like a lasting thing. But let me use my environment. Let me hide my Pokemon behind things and like maybe
Hmm.
shoot out from behind it. Or, oh, if I have the high ground, maybe I have a bit of an advantage or something like that. Whereas this is like you get into the battle and it is like you're kind of in this sterile environment that you're moving around in. But actually moving around in the environment, the only thing you're doing is just kind of saving yourself from
Yeah.
getting hit by something.
That's definitely something that feels like it will be in that next tier of like the next Legends game. I hope they take on those sort of finesses. I think this time they took a big leap. They took a big swing with like, let's try this really active system, see if it works. I mean, at least with all of us, it's landed. I assume it's landing with other Pokemon fans. So potentially like the next one is like, all right, let's make this a little bit more finessed.
And how do we feel about the Lumio City, the open world itself? Obviously, we move away from this big kind of wide open wilderness space in Legends Arceus to a very metropolitan thing where there are these zones you can go catch Pokemon. And there are something I have liked is when I jumped in for the first time and saw these catching zones, I thought, oh, that's going to be the only place I'm going to be able to find these things. It is cool to be able to find Pokemon naturally occurring around the environment as well. Like, oh, look, there's I don't know his name, but he's literally a piece of garbage and he's over there eating
Trivish.
garbage. Yeah, and he's hanging out there. Or you go up on a roof and there's a bunch of Pidgeys like stooped out looking down at the street. I think that's really cool, but how do we feel about the actual environment itself and navigating it and what they have you do inside of it?
I'll say this is my biggest drawback of the game. I think there is a happy medium between the emptiness of Arceus and being confined to one city in ZA. One of my favorite parts of Pokemon is the journey, going on a quest, going through different caves to find cities, and coming up against a random spot of grass that all of a sudden has a bunch of Pokemon you never saw before. And I want to go on a quest, and I feel a little bit like a bird in a cage in Lumiose a little bit. And so that's probably my biggest personal problem with the game is I like going around a country. I don't want to be stuck in if we're in France, let me travel to France. Don't make me stay in Paris the whole time.
Lauren, how about you as somebody who really enjoyed that kind of vast wilderness of Legends Arceus?
Yeah, I'm quite excited anytime I get to go into like a city metropolis. Uh, the issue with this is that, of course, it's super bland, which was to be expected. To be honest, I'm not expecting to come in and see Cyberpunk 2077, but a little bit more variation would be nice. To be fair, I haven't explored much of the world because I've been stuck in the tutorial phase for my entire life, but I like the verticality. Like I like that you can go down alleys and up rooftops, and get that. I also love that you can just jump off a building and not die. More games should
And
do
your
that,
phone will
please.
save you.
Crazy. So that's fun, like the traversal. But then the traversal also sucks because why can't I just climb up a ledge? I have to go around up the ramp. Oh, anyway. So it's like for every pro there is a con.
When the
Um,
ledge is this big, it's
oh
so
my god,
annoying. Like it's the tiniest little ledge. Why can't I climb up it? Give me a jump
literally.
button, please.
There
Where
are
is the jump button?
a lot of little things traversal wise in this game that just make me so mad. I think the world is fun. It feels very small, especially as you start actually running around it. Like I today was like, oh, I have to go way over there to do something. And it took me like 2.5 minutes. And it was the complete other side of the map. It's really not that big of an environment. And me, even at 8, 9, 10 hours, I have pretty much seen, I think, just about everything this city has to offer right now. And that kind of bums me out because just like you, TJ, I do like those like sprawling journeys of a Pokemon adventure, of like starting in this small town and going all the way up to become champion through all these cities. Of course, this is a different kind of game, but I thought they could have, setting it in one city, they could have given that journey to us in a way. I think they could have done it. I just don't think that ultimately this game is going to be the one that they do it in. And the biggest gripe I have moving around the world is the climbing sucks. I hate it. And what do they have scattered all over the city? Scaffolding, obstacle courses that you can do.
Ugh.
And the platforming in this game is terrible. I ran into a side quest today that I did where you have to do a race around these obstacle courses, and the first one easy, second one easy, third one I'm walking on a board that is like 5 pixels wide. I can't, like, the way your character controls, you move like a tank, so you can't, like, balancing across it is near impossible. It's so frustrating, and it's like you couldn't have done better than this. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of this game. Is like, this is like, I see an idea here that could be great, but you're not giving me the tools to make it great. And that just like
Yeah.
really, really bugs me.
It's like you got so close, but you just didn't bother with the extra polish.
It very much feels like a first Legends game in a lot of ways. Like they didn't polish anything from the first one and make it better. It just kind of feels like a new first game. And there are so
Yeah.
many new things in it that are really cool. and I hope to see get expanded on. But it does feel like we need 5 or 6 updates to mash out some bugs, and then it would be a great game, which is like, in a way, that's kind of Scarlet Violet all over again. It runs a hell of a lot better than Scarlet Violet, but it's one of those sense where it's like, oh, this has so many cool ideas. I wish I didn't fall off a ledge anytime I had to move it over. I wish in my map it didn't take me 6 hours to pinpoint the actual place I'm trying to get to, because it keeps my joystick keeps firing all over the place because of how sensitive it is. Like, there's just too many tiny bugs for how, considering how great the game feels like it could be.
But that's the Pokemon thing. Like, this is
Yeah.
what we keep coming back to. I mean, we talked about it earlier with the leak. This game reportedly cost them $20 million to make. That's like, in AAA video game world, that's nothing. That's like, that is a drop in the bucket. And this is the biggest entertainment franchise in the world. You can't, like,
It'll be the highest selling
we
game this
shouldn't be
year.
making excuses for this. Like,
Yeah.
the way that it looks bugs the hell to me. I think that, like, it is, as you said, it looks sterile, it looks bland. Like, you couldn't have put any more polish into that. The platforming, as I said, like, moving around feels like you couldn't have done anything more there. It's just like, what is going on? As I said, this is the biggest entertainment franchise in the entire world. We
But
should
that's why
expect better.
they don't have to, because they don't need to.
I
It's gonna
know,
sell.
but that's the frustrating part. Like,
I
they
know.
don't need to, but
We
we
ask for
like,
better.
I don't know. I even look back and at, like, even like the GameCube games or the Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii, and like, just like visually, those games were so much more interesting. This, like, the 3D Pokemon world, and I've kind of been like humming and hawing about this take since I started playing the game, but like, I genuinely feel that when the mainline Pokemon games went 3D at the 3DS era or whatever, it was like the worst thing that could have happened for the franchise, because when they were doing it all 2D, the games had to be smaller. So those budgets, those like frugal budgets that they had, made sense. They could do more with it in this 2D environment. When they went 3D, they couldn't, like, they kept the same budgetary number or whatever, and they kept the same pipeline, and they needed to, like, quintuple it. They needed to, like, double down and really lean into making it like what it possibly could be. And now we're here, and it's been year after year after year after year of these 3D games looking terribly, not being like 100% what they could be. But I enjoy the battle catching, leveling up loop. And so I'm in and I'm enjoying myself, but I am sitting here wishing, man, like, this is so far away from like what the dream 3D Pokemon game could be.
If I may, to cross fandoms a little bit, Pokemon Switch to 3D is very much the Marvel Cinematic Universe post Endgame. I'm going to be there on day one for all of these things because I love it. I love this fandom and I love it. And the quality that I'm getting, it's still good. It is very good. But oh my god, there are these clear opportunities to make it great, and you're not doing it. Why are you cutting these corners? Where did my connectivity go? Why are you over editing these movies to make them so short when we're missing clear character development in these different places? That's how I feel about the Pokemon games too. It's like,
But TJ, that'd be like if Marvel Studios was making these movies on an independent movie budget, and they're just like, yes,
Yeah.
here you go. Still, you'll eat it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not a one for one. It's not a one for one, absolutely. But it kind of just feels like it's so good that I'm mad it's not great. It's
But
kind
it
of how
sounds
I've
like
been feeling lately.
it sounds like this has been, I mean, again, I don't have the history to back this up, so you guys can tell me. But it sounds like this has been happening a tale as old as time since the beginning. They come in with new ideas, new Pokemon, new worlds, and then reset to the next time and start something completely new. So the next Legends game is probably like, maybe they'll throw all this out and just do something completely different again. And it'll be another like first game. And we'll be like, cool, there's a new cool thing to try there, and we'll give that a go. But it will still be the same level with all the same issues that we've had from previous games.
But the biggest, I do agree with you that I would say, at least in the last 10 years, it for sure has been that way. And before that, they definitely were big fans of introducing these ideas and throwing them away. But it felt like, especially in the 2D era, going from red and blue to, I keep calling it Soul Silver, but red and blue, silver and gold, ruby sapphire, even into fire and red, or fire red, leaf green, diamond and pearl, it felt like it was sort of building on the same foundation, whereas this is like, oh no, it's just the same crappy foundation, and we're just like throwing a different house on top every year, and then we're demolishing that house, but
Yes.
it's the same foundation. Whereas the last time, or like in the 2D era at least, it really did feel like they were building a mountain, and they were slowly building something, and they would take pieces away, but it was slowly building up. Whereas this, it doesn't ever feel like they're building up at all.
It's like one of those, like you guys just did one in the on the podcast with an open world draft. Klein, you guys just did one on the Reckless Rebellion podcast with the Star Wars directors and actors draft. It very much feels like a randomized draft where they have a whole pail of ideas in a bucket. They reach in, pick them out, and it's like, these are the only ones we can use today. You know, there are these other ones in there. They were in the bucket we were choosing from, and maybe they'll get picked for the next one we do. But we're going to pick these ones out of the bucket, and these are the ones we're using for this world this week. No bikes. Lumios doesn't like bikes, so you don't get a bike in this one, and you just have to run. And it just kind of feels like they'll, make the most of the ones they chose this time. But why? Like it's random. It feels randomized.
I do think there are small things that they could do that would improve this experience a whole lot. Number one being like even just a little visual upgrade would be fantastic. I think that even on the Switch 2, this game still, it runs great, but the world is bland, the characters don't look awesome. I want it to look the way that I remember the like 3D game on Wii looking, or XD Gale of Darkness looking. And then the thing I still can't believe when I turned this on for the first time was like, really no like voice acting at all. Like, no, you don't have to have people voicing every word, but like you could do a
The
Singlish
noises.
thing,
The noises
And
like
from
their
the
mouths
Pokemon.
move, their mouths move like they're talking.
or even just like in Persona, at least not all the lines are voiced, but they have like with every line they have like a like they have like these like little vocal ticks that kind of express the tone at which the character is speaking. This is nothing, and it's just like music playing and someone looking at you with their mouth moving, and the like script scrolling across the screen. It's like that's where the like budgetary thing really bugs me. It's like you have the money, like you don't, it doesn't have to be full. You don't need to bring Yuri Lowenthal and Troy Baker in to voice this entire cast. You can do just like a womp 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 womp. Like it would go so much further. It would add so much more personality to this world and these characters.
Yuri Lowenthal as Red would go so hard.
It would be really good.
I
It would be really
I keep bringing my podcast co-host Damon into this, but he sent me a text and he goes, maybe I don't want voice acting in these games. And he shows me a text box and it says, I am so sick and tired of this life. I just want to smell Pokemon.
Yeah, I met that person today.
Okay, well, while we're on this topic, can we just get it out of the way? Like, the dialogue, the writing sucks.
Oh
The
yeah.
flow is so bad in this game, and that's my biggest pain point right now, at least only where I'm up to, is that I am in the tutorial phase, but it's like I just don't want to go and do anything because I don't want to talk to anyone because I must mash the buttons. Oh my gosh, another wild Pokemon has appeared. TJ has brought us a dog.
I got all the evolutions in the house. This is my dog Obi-Wan.
Perfect. I have dogs called Chewie and Leia.
Nice.
So,
I have Sonic and Shadow, and then this was a foster fail Obi-Wan.
we love it. But yeah, dialogue, writing, just awful, and slows anything that you're doing right down. Like, why are we saying the same thing 3 times? Like, and it's like they're trying to give characters personality solely through the writing, but I don't know, maybe the translation isn't great. So it's just a real problem. I just don't care about anyone or anything. I'm like, get out of my way. I want to go battle and catch Pokemon. Shut up.
There are, I will say, I'm just starting to get some of it, but as you get in the story, there is some interesting story stuff. It's like, oh, like there's a history to this city, and like a bit of a like dark and tragic history that I didn't really expect in a Pokemon game. And they kind of add layers to the characters that way as we're going. But for the most part, I do agree with you, where you are talking to them and it's like, this is, can we get out of here? Like I'm not having fun with any of this. I don't need to hear about your curry croissant surprise or whatever you made everybody to eat. Like, it is a bit of a it feels like they're holding me back from getting to the stuff that I want to do, which is the battling and the catching and the leveling up.
Yeah. Like, it has charm in the TV show and the movies and things like that. Like, I enjoy those aspects, but those are like fully voiced, animated. Like, that's what the format is for. This is, if we're going to do this, either go all the way or don't have it at all.
TJ, I want to ask you, as somebody who does have a long history with this franchise and has played every entry, how do you feel about the Pokedex in this game? It isn't every one of them. I think it's like 160 total, but it's a mishmash of like Mons from every generation.
Yeah, I think I don't love it. I mean, I understand that it's a finite number, that there was not going to just like put every single Pokemon we've ever met into this game, but I do really enjoy the mystery of searching around and then like, holy shit, look what Pokemon there's there. And I kind of hate that we know exactly who everyone is going to be. You go to a wild zone, you press start. Okay, these are the 7 Pokemon you can potentially find. Sure, that makes it easier to collect them all, but it very much does feel like a little too easy. It's taking away the mystery from it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Lauren, as somebody who doesn't have a ton of like deep Pokedex lore, has there been any new ones that you've seen that you've been like, oh, I like you. You're now part of the team?
I think I just have such favoritism towards the original, 100 and
151. Yeah.
yeah, 151. That it's like those are the ones who kind of end up in my team because I'm like, I know what you're going to become. I'm so familiar with you that I want to keep you. But I'm open-minded to finding new things. I want to find the trash Pokemon. And
He's
weird.
Go find the garbage. He's there.
Yep, right. So yeah, I'm and it's interesting to see how they fit these Pokemon into the city environment. Like, what are you doing here? Like, I like some of them work. Like, okay, of course the Magikarp are in the river and in this park, but some of them you're like, you don't belong up here. What's going on?
Yeah. Why
So,
is there?
yeah.
Why, Mr. Eevee? How did you get up here on this roof? And why are you here all by yourself? You
Yeah.
can't climb a ladder.
Yeah, so some of them it's like I can go here and I can expect to find a ghost Pokemon or whatever, but some of them it's like I really have no idea where I'm going to find you. So, yeah, I guess it's like not I didn't, buy the game or invest in the game because it's like I want to catch the 151. But there are certain ones that I'm like really hoping to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my team is, I think, fairly cemented at this point. They are all mostly first 2 gens usually is where I end up. I love me an Ampharos, so when I could catch a Flaffy, when I could catch a Mareep, got one. TJ, have you gotten the shiny Mareep?
I have not gotten a shiny Mareep.
There's a quest that gives you one, is what I'll say. So
Ooh.
be on the lookout. Yeah. Very early on. So
okay.
I look out for that.
I have Charizard, Gyarados, Mareep. Basically like a 5 that are locked in. Heracross is one. I have 5 that are locked in with like one rotating spot depending on who I'm facing off against. It's like a Talonflame, Slowbro, kind of few of them mixing in.
Who was your starter?
I wish I would have gone with Totodile. In hindsight, Totodile was the very clear option. 1, because he's just so cool. But 2, there's a serious lack of water Pokemon early in the game. And there's a very hefty amount of grass Pokemon. And so I went with Chikorita just because I got a soft spot for that little cutie. But I wish I would have gone Totodile because there are like I'm sitting with like a level 45 Victory Bell that was like an alpha, and it's like, damn, that would be great to use in my lineup because it can Mega Evolve, but I just got no room for it with Meganium.
Lauren, who did you go with? Yeah, so did I. I will say, and I think it's because in Legends Arceus, Cyndaquil was there, but like when it comes to Gen 2 starters, Cyndaquil's my boy. I love that little fire porcupine, but not here. There's this pig who I've never seen before, and I'm like, I don't want to hang out with you at all.
So Tepig is like the very clear worst starter Pokemon that we've ever gotten. Like nobody picks Tepig, nobody likes Tepig. And Chikorita has been pretty like this is Damon who brought this up to me. Chikorita has been pretty crapped on throughout the years as well. Of just like
I love
everybody loves.
Chikorita.
I do too. Like Gen 2 starters are just so great. But Totodile and Cyndaquil are so cool that Chikorita kind of falls by the wayside. So I think they decided to pick two of the lesser liked, lesser known starters, give them an mega evolution, make them cool. And then they went, okay, who's one that everybody loves? Everybody loves Totodile. So this way they can't totally be mad. We gave you two that not everybody likes.
Where's justice for Mudkip? My boy. I love Mudkip. He never the Gen 3 starters never show back up, and it makes me so mad. I love those
I
Trico,
love
Mudkip,
Trico. I love Trico.
Torchic. Oh,
And Torchic, honestly, yeah, they're all great. Like, you get a fire fighting bird Pokemon. Yeah, Trico is insanely fast and cool. Mudkip makes it so you don't have to worry about electricity anymore because it has the ground type in it. It's like they're three OP starters.
I will say I did meet a new friend. I usually on my team I like to keep my starter and I like having a bird of some sort. That is the foundation of my team. I met a firebird. I don't know what gen he's from. He has evolved into it's called Fletchling now. I don't know where
Yeah.
he goes and I'm keeping it a secret. I'm like,
Yeah.
I like this firebird. I've never other than Moltres, I haven't really seen that combination before. And so I'm enjoying myself with him.
Fletchinder is by far the best street bird you can get in any of the gens. Like, I won't tell you who he evolves into, but he is one of my favorite Pokemon just in general. By far the coolest and strongest of the birds. Like, if you ever play Pokemon Unite, the evolution is a great option. And if you ever play Pokemon Go and you're in the battle streets, God, the evolution is really strong as well. So like it's by far the best street bird that you can pick up.
Well, it's super helpful because I mean, fire and flying are fairly complementary because like they both are super effective against grass, but it adds it's just adding another type combination to my team that I haven't really had before because I'm usually like I like Starly from Gen 4. Of course I like Pidgey. That whole evolution line is awesome. Like I have the Pidgeotto haircut. Um and but those are just normal flying types. Like that's all they are. So having that added, like adding another type to my usual team has been really helpful in taking out some of the other mons that I've come up against. But I think we can almost get out of here. But I want to ask one last question on this early impressions conversation is with this packed fall that we've had, where there are so many games and so many amazing games to play, how are we feeling about Legends at A going forward from now? Like, is this going to be like, I need to get back to my Switch right now? This is the only thing I'm playing until I see the end of it? Or have you kind of seen your initial you've had your initial meal and you're going to snack for the next little while on this thing?
I'm not going to be putting it down until I'm done. Like, I don't think I'm really going to be playing anything else. But having said that, I don't think I'm going to revisit it. I'm hungry, and that's kind of why I think I'm going to finish the whole plate in one sitting. But once I'm done, I feel like if I want to play a Legends game, I'll play Arceus or I'll play something, mainline that I played before. I don't think I'm going to really feel the need to go back to this one after I'm done it.
Lauren?
Well, I think we all know that October has been an insane month in gaming for me, and September. And I'm a completionist, so it's kind of like I'm going to go back in order and I'm going to finish my Hades and finish my Ghost of Yotei, and then I'll come back to Pokemon. It was a case of like, I just want to get in and see what it's like so we can talk about it and that I have an idea of what's going on. But it's like maybe I'll alternate because Hades and Pokemon are the two things I'm playing on Switch right now, and they're so different. So it's maybe when I get sick of one, I'll go to the other, but it's not like my priority right now. But I do intend to come back and like see it through.
Yeah, I think that I'm not gonna eat this whole thing right away, but this is my like TV game for right now. If there's something else on, like Hades, I have actually gotten more invested in the story and that sort of thing. So I can't have something else going on playing that. This is
Yeah.
gonna be I'm just gonna train while I'm watching basketball season come starting this week. Or this morning I was watching soccer and I was playing Pokemon on the couch. So like I think that that's kind of how this game is gonna be experienced for me. But yeah, I'm not I'm not itching to just consume this whole thing like I was with like Ghost of Yotei, where it was basically in a weekend. I'm like, oh, there's 40 hours gone.
I know nothing about Hades 2 or the franchise, but that's my next Switch game because of you guys.
You'll
Oh
love it,
yeah.
TJ. You'll really like it. You'll be, especially if you're a PJ or PJO, Percy Jackson. If you're a Percy Jackson fan, like you
Oh
will
yeah.
really dig Hades 2. But let's talk about what else we've been playing. Lauren, you mentioned Hades 2, but you've been away, you've been traveling, you've been seeing things, doing stuff, and you played a game that isn't out yet, which is very exciting. What did you play and what did you think about it?
They did. So at New York Comic Con, they were having demos of Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, which is a game that we talked about when it was announced at, I think it was Gamescom was the reveal. And then they also had demos at Gamescom, or yeah, one of those showcases. And we're all very intrigued because this looks to be like they've done some things differently with this Lego game. It's a bit more open world. They've adapted free flow combat. It seems to be taking a lot from the Arkham games. And so I was very excited to get hands on with it. Luckily, they had like a demo set up on the floor, the show floor. There's only like 4 stations, so it was even worse than what the setups were at PAX. But I think the demo was only like 10 minutes. But we got to go actually to the Warner Brothers like building in New York and go and play it privately there. So I will have some proper impressions coming on the direct, like a write up of that. So stay tuned for that. I think it'll be published any day now. But I will also share some thoughts here, which is that I think it's exactly what we're hoping for. It feels like Arkham Light, basically. It is as much as they could do from the Batman Arkham games in Lego format is what they've done, and it feels like a really great balance of both of those things. And I think some of the gripes I've had with previous Lego games is that they will adapt things like Harry Potter and Indiana Jones and Marvel, but it's like they don't quite always. It's always like in their format versus trying to come to the party with maybe what suits the character. Like there are certain things, like I know in the Horizon game you can shoot arrows and that makes sense for Aloy and things like that. But here it's like they've really gone, we're going to pay homage to every single thing in Batman that we possibly can, and that includes the games, and that includes in particular the Arkham games. And I think that really suits what they're trying to do here. There are certain things that I think make it feel a little bit more, I guess, family friendly, or like that suit the Lego style. So the free flow combat is good, but it is a little bit slower. It's not as precise. It's a little bit more accessible, where they will like flag what button you need to press at all times. So it's not really as challenging in that way. And similarly, stealth, like you can do the grapple around the world and like hang off a gargoyle and do silent takedowns and things like that, but it is a little less forgiving in that enemies can spot you very quickly, and if you kind of get stuck in a combat situation, you're kind of stuck in it. You can't really escape or do a smoke bomb and get out of there. So at least in this portion that I saw. So there are certain things like that that make it feel like it's not an exact one-to-one, but they're doing a really good job. And there are things from like that Lego fans will love, which is like, you bust up an enemy, they explode into bricks. You're collecting studs. You're building things to get through certain puzzles. So I think it really does have a really great melding of the two things. And from what I saw of the story as well, they're having fun with it. Like they're doing these moments and bringing in these characters in a way that's like totally unexpected. And I think that's really exciting to be able to like have this open world Gotham that you can go around and explore, and then also reenact these story moments, but you never quite know in what way. So it was very promising. I'm looking forward to it.
Did you get any Batmobile action, or was it mostly
Oh yeah.
traversal and fighting?
Yeah, so I had like a 15-minute session at the beginning to just run around the world and have a look. And I did get in the Batmobile. And they didn't open the entire world. There were parts that I couldn't cross because they're like, you can't enter this section. But it's pretty big. It doesn't feel overwhelming in the way that, something like an Assassin's Creed game might. But it does feel like there's lots of things to explore. Like even in my short time I did, like there's a Riddler puzzle, like Riddler trophies or puzzles are back. There are chests that you can collect. And there are crimes in progress, kind of like Spider-Man. So you can just, and then and the Arkham games that you just kind of go in and bust guys up. So there's lots to do, and driving the Batmobile feels very fun around that world. Yeah, and then I also did a story mission, which was like a sort of go into Ace Chemicals kind of vibe. So I got a balance of both, and it's very promising.
Cool. Hints of any villains you can talk about, or is that not being shown?
Yeah, I met a villain. I met Red Hood. But there's a twist on that villain that I'll leave for everyone to find out.
Cool. Awesome. So
Yeah.
that Lego Batman coming next spring. TJ, I'm sure you're very excited for that.
I have never played a Lego game before.
Well, this
Wait,
should
have
be
you
your
done the
first.
Batman games?
I've done all the Batman games.
Okay. I think you'll
I've
be
done
right
all
at
the
home.
Batman games, but I've never done a Lego game.
That's the other good thing is like, I have a fondness for the Lego games, but there's nothing in them for me right now that makes me want to go like I'm absolutely going to play that. Whereas this, having the draw card of like you do get some of those Arkham elements, I'm like, oh, there is something for me here now.
That is
this
cool.
is the Arkham game we've been waiting for, and I'm very happy about that. When you said Arkham Light, even though like it might not have the density and the depth of a Rocksteady Arkham game, anything at this point, any port in storm, I think that we will be here.
And the traversal, I forgot to mention, but you do get to do the gliding, the grappling, the flying around the world that was so satisfying in the Arkham games. They have kind of recreated that, which is very cool.
I love that. TJ, what have you been playing over the last little while? I'm sure it's been a lot of Ghost of Yotei, knowing how much you love Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I finished Ghost of Yotei. I wanted to make sure I got it done before Pokemon Legends ZA came out, and I got it done too quick. I had like a full week left where I was like, damn, what do I play now for the next bit? I'm sitting here on Ghost of Yotei, and I've done everything I can do, and yet it still, for some reason, says that I have one area remaining in it that is still occupied, and I don't know where it could possibly be because I've done everything.
You've like
But
100%ed it?
like I actually didn't look at the percentage on the thing,
Oh,
but like
like
I've
you like
done
cleared
all
the
the
map?
yeah,
Okay,
I've
that's
cleared the
very
map and
impressive.
I've done all the shrines and everything, but it still says there's one territory that's occupied. And I have no idea if there's just like some little hidden farmstead somewhere I haven't done yet. But either way, I've exhausted everything I feel like I can do in that game. And I love it so much. Like it passed Expedition 33 for my favorite game of the year, and kind of by a fairly wide margin too. Like it just took everything great about Ghost of Tsushima, kept the stuff that was perfect, enhanced the stuff that wasn't. I like the story even more. The Ghost of Tsushima story is great, but the Ghost of Yotei story had me even more engaged. Like Klein, you and I were talking about it a little bit, but like multiple times throughout this game made me tear up. Like not just one or two, like multiple throughout this game made me tear up. It is, the story is incredible, the fighting is incredible. I don't really have any notes. Like there's not anything I would add to improve upon with the game other than for personal preference. I would love if there were certain points of the game where you could choose to do one thing or the other and that would impact the story. Like there are certain times where it's like I need help over here, but I want to stay. Do I help or do I stay? Like that'd be cool if I could choose. You know, like I could choose like stay and fight here or go fight over there, and that would impact the story. That to me would be the only way you could improve this game. But like it's been pretty close to perfect for me, and yeah, I adore it. Only other thing I've been like I'll touch on is just because we were talking about Pokemon today is I reopened Pokemon Go for the first time in many months because they did some weird level up thing. So if you haven't played Pokemon Go in a long time, it bumped me from like level 32 to level 50. I have some friends that bump to like level in the 60s, and your items are just filled with things now. So if you haven't touched Pokemon Go in a while, but feel like you might miss it a little bit, log in. You probably got severely upgraded.
Yeah. I am also on the Yotei grind, but we'll do a deep dive conversation on that later in the month when we do our new game plus conversation. The only thing I'll say on your point, TJ, is I am right now on the pace to platinum. Like the game is done, and I am just like going through and doing all the trophies, trying to get the platinum trophy. And the one thing, the one note, maybe they're listening at Sucker Punch, if they could just add when I finish, if I roll credits, just add an icon on the map for everything. Like just
Yeah.
everything that's still left. Let me look, because the something I love about Yotei is how natural a lot of the side quests and the things in the world occur, where it's like you're riding along and someone goes, "Hey there, can you help me?" And then you get this random person you think is actually the start to a big long side quest. But all of that remains hidden when the game's done. So it's like, I don't know what it's like, complete all these side quests. I'm like, I don't know where those are, because I feel like I've explored the map pretty thoroughly, but there's some dude with a cart sitting somewhere in a forest who's ready to give me this next big side quest. And so that's like my only thing right now. But as I mentioned, that's our New Game Plus game of the month for October. We'll be playing that and then doing a deep dive conversation probably first week in November or last weekend of October. Anything else,
Last
guys?
Yotei note that I'll add: if there are like various mythic quests throughout this game, as soon as you find somebody bringing up to you something about one of them that revolves around a sword,
That's the one I'm still
prioritize that
looking for,
above
TJ.
everything else.
I can't find it.
As soon as somebody brings that up to you, you prioritize that above all else.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Good tip.
It gives you a lightsaber. But yeah, that's going to be it for what we've been playing, and basically it for the show. Head on over to Comment Corner very quickly, where you can chime in, leave us a comment. We'll shout it out on the show. This week's Comment Corner question of the week, as we had some comments, but most of them had to do with us yelling about the Assassin's Creed cancellation last week, and I'm not giving those people the light of day here on the show. I'm sorry. This week's question of the week for the comment corner is: what do you think about Pokemon Legends ZA so far? You can let us know in the comments here on the podcast on YouTube or over on Spotify. Also, please go follow the show at Controllers Club Pod on Instagram and Blue Sky, at Controller_Club on Twitter, and at Controller.Club on TikTok. Also, if you are listening to us, you can go see our beautiful faces over on YouTube. Subscribe to us at Controller Club on YouTube, as well as ring the bell, leave us a comment, thumbs up. It really helps us out. We put up the latest episodes over there, as well as our best of segments and clips from the show. And rate and review us wherever you're listening. 5 stars, 5 stars. TJ, thank you so much for joining us. We've come to the end of the show. Where can people keep up with you? What do you have going on in your life? What's going on at Agents of Fandom? We're rolling out the red carpet, so take it away.
Personally, I've got a busy season coming up with the NBA starting, so I kind of have two lanes in which I work. One of them is in fantasy sports, the other one is with Agents of Fandom. So going to be busy on the fantasy sports side of things with basketball starting up. In terms of Agents of Fandom, it's a bit of a quiet time, but we're still cooking. We got at least 2 or 3 shows every week on the Agents of Fandom podcast, wherever you get your pods, also on YouTube. Recently, we've been talking about Gen V and Peacemaker. Next up, we have Percy Jackson and the Olympians, followed by Wonder Man. Any big movies and shows we're basically covering on there, like anyone that is grabbing the fandom's attention, then that's what we're going to cover. We kind of started the Agents of Fandom platform with the purpose of content for fellow fans by fellow fans. Like if you're really passionate about something, come over and chat about it. And so we got reviews up on the website from what do we have up recently up there right now? I just recently talked about Chad Powers was my most recent one, as well as Marvel Zombies. I'm going to have a Star Wars Visions review coming in the next couple
Can't
weeks.
wait.
Just signed up for the screeners for that one, so that should be coming soon. And we're going to be talking about that on the pod as well. So anything you're a fan of, you can find it over there. Klein's been a very frequent guest, and we're hopefully going to have things cooking very shortly for Lauren and Tom as well. So very thankful to be on the podcast. Like I said, first time on, but a long time fan, and I love listening to you wonderful people talk about video games every week, and so it's a true treat to get to join you.
Well, it won't be the last time for sure, TJ. You guys over at Agents of Fandom are always just like cheerleading kind of everyone. I think that you guys as a community do a fantastic job of, whether it's at Agents of Fandom or not, like cheerleading great people making great content across Canada and the US. I know Ryan Cortero, homie of AOF, is in our comments basically every week and is listening all the time. Hi Ryan, you've got to come on the show soon. So thank you so much for all the support, and like, of course, thank you for all the amazing content that you do over Agents of Fandom. You're going to have me on for Star Wars Visions, because I love Star Wars Visions. I am very excited for that.
Done. We'll lock it in. We'll pick a date and we'll lock it in for sure. And doubling down on what you said about everybody who's watching on YouTube, hit the like button, because it's so stupid how much that helps. It helps so much. It's the easiest little thing. People don't do it because it just feels like a thing that when you're watching a YouTube video, yeah, they say it. Everybody says it every time, whatever. It actually helps small little fandoms and communities like us so much to get noticed by that big algorithm over on YouTube. So yeah, make sure everybody's you're all subscribed. That's why you're here. But hit the like button on the video too.
Thank you so much, TJ. And Lauren, you teed it up that you were at New York Comic Con. So where could people keep up with all of the content that you had coming out of that, as well as the extracurriculars you got into on your trip around the continent? Maybe a couple of concerts were in there. What do you have going on, and where can people find all that?
You can follow me at lrouse19, mostly posting on Blue Sky, or actually I had some TikTok stuff up this week. I was like, I'm at New York Comic Con, let's put some clips up. They've done decently all right. So if you want to see some of the panels I went to, I saw a lot of really, really great stuff. I got to meet some wonderful colleagues over there. And I have many more stories that I will save for when Tom is back, so we can share those. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And like I teed up, I will have some interview content coming out of New York Comic Con being published on the Direct. So, and that Lego Batman preview coming up. So keep an eye on for it over there and on my socials.
Excellent. Can't wait to see all that. You can keep up with me everywhere. I'm at the Kleinfelt, TheKleinFelt. That's going to wrap up this episode of Controller Club. As always, thank you so much for listening. Now, let's get gaming.